Rain makes everything look clean. That is the joke. It polishes asphalt. It brightens fingerprints. It turns light into reflections you cannot escape. I sit in my car across the motel and watch them arrive one by one, like strangers sharing a coincidence. Mara first, tight shoulders, eyes that refuse to spill. Jonah next, phone face down, like that can protect him. Ethan last, anger packed into his jaw like a weapon. Lucas behind them all, quiet, listening. They picked this motel because nobody remembers faces here. They picked it because the highway makes people feel erased. Listen to the lies they still cling to. Time will bury it. Silence will fix it. We did what we had to do. 7 years ago, those sentences cost me everything. I do not rush. I count. I wait. I let them feel safe long enough to loosen their grip. Because the moment they sense the pattern, it is already too late. 7 years ago, I was a witness. Not a hero. Not a vigilante. Just a guy walking home with a dead phone and a cheap ring on my finger, thinking about rent. The street under the overpass was slick with rain. Headlights smeared across the concrete like wet paint. A car came too fast. A bicycle light flashed once, small and bright. Then a sound that did not belong in a normal night. Metal. Plastic. A body hitting pavement. The car did not stop. It slowed. It turned. It circled back, like the driver wanted to look at what they did. I stepped into the light and yelled, loud enough to shake. "Hey, stop. Call 911. Do not leave." 4 doors opened. 4 silhouettes stared at the wreck like it was a problem to solve. Then they saw me. Mara spoke first, calm in a way that made my skin crawl. "You did not see anything. You are mistaken. Let us handle it." Jonah's eyes kept flicking to my phone. Ethan kept stepping closer. Lucas kept scanning the edges for cameras. That was the first time I understood. This was not panic. This was a plan forming in real time. Ethan hit me first. Not cinematic, just fast. My shoulder hit the pillar. My breath left my body like a confession. Jonah took my phone. He did not even pretend he had a right to it. "Unlock it. Now." Mara crouched near the crash, not to help, to remove pieces that told the truth. Lucas stood at the edge of the light, watching the street, watching for witnesses, watching for consequences. I saw the bicycle on its side. I saw the rider not moving. I heard a thin sound that could have been breath, or could have been nothing. "Help them. Please." Mara looked at me like I was inconvenient. "If you call this in, we all go down. You want to ruin lives over an accident." Then the evil turned sharp. Jonah wiped my phone. Ethan shoved something into my jacket pocket. Lucas dropped my cheap ring into a puddle, then stepped on it, hard. When the sirens finally came, they came for me. Because the call that went out from my phone was not a call for help. It was a call that made me look guilty. They left me under that overpass half-conscious, wet, and holding evidence I did not own. They did not just hurt me, they edited me into their crime. My name is Caleb. I learned it matters when people try to erase you. I survived that night. I did not survive what came after. A cell that smelled like bleach and sweat. A public defender who never looked up. A judge who heard the story they planted and called it clean. The writer died. I read it in a line of text like it was weather. I lost 2 years proving I was not the monster they needed. When I got out, my mother's hair had gone gray. She hugged me like she was holding a ghost. I asked what happened while I was gone. She stayed quiet for a long time. Then she said the part that broke me. They visited me. They said you were dangerous. They told me to stop asking questions. That is the real evil, not the crash, Not the hit, not even the framing. It was the calm way they protected themselves. They went home. They got promotions. They posted smiling photos. They slept. And I stayed awake. I did not become a monster. I became patient. I kept records. I kept dates. I kept their routines like scripture. And when the time was right, I started placing reminders, not to scare them, to teach them how it feels when reality refuses your version. Mara lives by ritual, kettle, toothbrush, keys in the same bowl. She believes routine is protection, so I do not break her door. I do not threaten her. I change one object. I borrow her key for 90 seconds, long enough for her to doubt herself forever. She comes home and finds it on the counter, not lost, not missing, returned. She freezes like the air got heavier. I put it in my pocket. I know I did. She checks her bag. She checks her jacket. She checks her hands like hands can lie. I do nothing else. Because the best horror is not a figure in a hallway. It is a fact that will not move. And Mara is the kind of person who collapses quietly. So I let her do it. They avoid each other when guilt gets specific. So I give them a reason to gather. I do not send threats. I send proof. A motel key card in a puddle. A folded paper by stairs. A thumbprint on a windshield. Small things that say one thing. I am close. Jonah finally breaks the silence with a voice note. 3 seconds of breathing, tight, shallow, controlled panic. Mara listens twice. Ethan does not reply. Lucas replies with the sentence that matters. Stop pretending it is random. Then Lucas drops a location pin, not the motel, not a dark alley, somewhere ordinary, a parking garage stairwell. They think concrete is neutral. Concrete holds impressions. Concrete remembers footsteps. Concrete keeps records without ink. Jonah trusts systems, bad habit. He takes a new route to work, like that makes him invisible. He enters a downtown garage washed in amber ceiling light. I leave him footprints, 2 wet prints, then nothing, like the person stopped mid-stride. He slows. His shoulders rise. His eyes flick to the camera dome above him. This is nothing. Just water. He keeps walking, but his body is wrong. His posture changes. His pace becomes careful. That is how I know it landed. He is not scared of a person. He is scared of being recorded. Because 7 years ago, he stole my phone and rewrote my story. Now every camera feels like a judge. Ethan goes to church when he wants to look clean from the outside. The lot is wet. Puddles reflect amber light. Everything looks polite. Near the curb, a candle stub stands upright in a puddle. No flame, just wax. He sees it and stops too fast. What is that doing there? This is stupid. A woman passes and glances politely, then looks away. The world refuses to witness, like it always does. Ethan's anger fails for a second. Recognition leaks through. That candle was at the crash. I made sure he would remember. I made sure the object would do the talking. Lucas is the hardest. Not because he is innocent, because he is honest in the wrong way. He works nights in a mini-mart where the lights buzz like confession. He stands in even amber glare like he deserves it. So I do not chase him. I place the ring beneath his courtyard lamp. Cheap metal, bent, crushed. The ring Ethan stepped on under the overpass. Lucas sees it through the curtain. He does not open the door. He does not call anyone. He whispers once, barely audible. I know. That is the sound of a lock turning. Now I can move faster. Because Lucas just admitted the story is real. The paper matters because they think paper is harmless. 7 years ago, Mara made me sign a statement under a streetlight. She told me it was to help. It was to trap me, so I recreate it. I fold the sheet cleanly. I press letters hard enough to scar the fibers. Then I remove the words, a blank page that still aches. I leave it on a stairwell landing under steady amber light, where cameras can see it, where nobody will care, where only they will understand. This is what they did to me. They took a real event and made it blank. They took my truth and pressed it into silence. Now I hand that feeling back. They arrive separately. Mara first, frozen. Jonah rubbing his hands like cold is the problem. Ethan scanning corners, angry his body still believes in threats. Lucas last, quiet as a closing door. They do not greet each other. They do not smile. They stand small inside the building like the building is the main character. Lucas points to the landing. The folded paper sits there again. Jonah reaches. Lucas does not stop him this time. That is important. Lucas wants it to end, but he also wants it to make sense, so he lets the evidence speak. Jonah unfolds it. Blank. Relief hits them like hunger. Then Jonah tilts it toward the light. Indentations. Letters pressed into the fibers. Mara's eyes track the grooves. Ethan leans in like anger can read. Lucas stays still, like he already knows. Say it. Do not. I cannot. They do not need to read every word. They recognize the shape of the truth. You left the cyclist to die. You made my phone call the police on me. You planted evidence. You watched me get taken. Lucas folds it back the exact same way, slow and careful. Then he puts it into Jonah's palm and closes Jonah's fingers around it. Now it is yours. Jonah's phone lights up. Not a message, just light. That is when they finally understand. This is not random. This is targeted. This is personal. Ethan cannot stay. He turns and moves fast down the corridor, boots slapping wet grit. His breath gets loud. This is a setup. We have to go. He hits the next stairwell door. It does not open. He slams it again, harder. It opens on the third try, like the building is deciding whether to cooperate. He stumbles down a flight, hand catching the rail hard enough to hurt. No blood, just panic making a strong man clumsy. He looks up. A shadow crosses the landing light above him. Not a face, not a body, just proof. No. That one word is the first honest thing he has said in years. I step into the amber light. No theatrical darkness, no dramatic silhouette, just a human face under honest bulbs. Their eyes find me and lock. It is you. You are alive. We did what we had to do. No, you did what was convenient. I let the silence stretch until it becomes a rope. Then I give them my name like a receipt. Caleb. I watch the name land. I watch it ruin their breathing. Then I say the only line that matters. Too late. The light does not flicker. It does not need to. He remembers.